Imagine standing face to face with death and choosing faith anyway. That was the reality for the 12 men who once walked beside Jesus. Ordinary fishermen, tax collectors, and tradesmen who became world-changing heroes. These were men who left everything behind, not for power or fame, but for a message that could change hearts and nations. Stay with me, because each story builds on the next, and by the end, you'll understand why their courage still inspires billions today.
Number 1. Simon Peter. Simon Peter wasn't just any disciple. Jesus called him the Rock, the one he would build his church upon. After Pentecost, Peter's voice rang out boldly across Judea, preaching with fire and conviction. But his ministry collided with the cruelty of Emperor Nero, whose paranoia and tyranny spared no one. In 64 AD, a devastating fire swept through Rome. Nero deflected blame from himself by accusing Christians of arson. Peter was arrested and sentenced to death. But in a remarkable act of humility, he requested to be crucified upside down, believing he wasn't worthy to die the same way as Jesus. Peter's courage became a beacon of hope. Today, his tomb beneath St. Peter's Basilica reminds us that even in the darkest moments, faith can stand unshaken.
Number 2. Andrew. Andrew, Peter's brother, was the first disciple Jesus called.
He carried the gospel far beyond Judea, reaching Greece and Asia Minor. Wherever he went, people were drawn to his gentle yet persuasive teaching. But his success angered local authorities and pagan priests.
In Patras, Greece, Andrew was sentenced to crucifixion. Humble and devoted, he asked to be nailed to an X-shaped cross, saying he wasn't worthy to die like Jesus. For 2 days, he endured suffering while preaching forgiveness to those who gathered around him.
Andrew's X-shaped cross, now known as the saltire, lives on as a powerful symbol and became the national emblem of Scotland, a lasting testament to his faith and endurance.
Number 3. James the Greater. James, son of Zebedee, was part of Jesus' closest inner circle, witnessing miracles, the Transfiguration, and Jesus' agony in Gethsemane. After the resurrection, he preached boldly in Jerusalem, despite growing hostility. In 44 AD, King Herod Agrippa I, seeking favor with Jewish authorities, ordered James's execution, making him the first apostle to be martyred.
According to tradition, his accuser was so moved by James's steadfast faith that he converted and died alongside him.
James's supposed resting place in Santiago de Compostela in Spain became a sacred pilgrimage site, ensuring his story inspires generations of believers to endure for their faith.
Number 4. John the Beloved. John, James's brother, lived a different path. Known as the beloved disciple, he was the only apostle at the foot of the cross and was entrusted with caring for Mary, Jesus' mother.
Under Emperor Domitian, John faced violent persecution, including an attempt to kill him by boiling. Miraculously, he survived and was exiled to Patmos, where he received divine visions that became the Book of Revelation.
Returning to Ephesus after Domitian's death, John spent his later years teaching the next generation of believers. Unlike most apostles, John died peacefully, leaving behind writings that profoundly shaped Christian thought.
Number 5. Philip. Philip, one of the earliest followers, had a sharp understanding of Scripture and a gift for connecting with people.
He traveled to Phrygia, modern-day Turkey, performing miracles and spreading the gospel.
His growing influence angered Roman officials and pagan priests.
Arrested in Hierapolis, Philip was crucified on an X-shaped cross, similar to Andrew. Even while enduring extreme pain, he preached forgiveness and love to the crowd. Today, his tomb remains a sacred site in Hierapolis, honoring his unwavering courage.
Number 6. Bartholomew.
Bartholomew, also known as Nathaniel, brought the gospel to India, Mesopotamia, and Armenia. In Armenia, he converted a king, which infuriated the pagan priests who feared losing their influence. They arrested Bartholomew and inflicted one of the most horrific executions in Christian history. He was flayed alive and then beheaded. Through unimaginable suffering, he never renounced Jesus. His relics now rest in Rome, a stark reminder of unshakable devotion.
Number 7. Thomas. Thomas, often remembered as Doubting Thomas, turned skepticism into determination. After initially questioning Jesus' resurrection, he became one of the most fearless missionaries. Traveling to India, he established Christian communities, converting many despite fierce opposition from local priests. Thomas was ultimately killed by a spear while praying. His legacy endures among the St. Thomas Christians in India, who honor his faith and sacrifice centuries later.
Number 8. Matthew. Matthew, once a despised tax collector, became a devoted follower of Jesus. After witnessing the resurrection, he committed to documenting Jesus' teachings, which became the Gospel of Matthew.
He traveled to Ethiopia, preaching to kings and commoners alike. His influence angered pagan priests, who convinced the ruler to kill him. Matthew was stabbed while leading a service, leaving behind a gospel that continues to guide believers worldwide.
Number 9. James the Less. James, son of Alphaeus, quietly but firmly led the early church in Jerusalem. When brought before the Sanhedrin and told to deny Jesus, he refused. Thrown from the temple roof, he survived the fall and prayed for his attackers, only to be killed by a club.
His final act echoed Jesus' mercy and demonstrated that even the quietest voices can leave the strongest legacy.
Number 10. Jude Thaddeus. Jude, often called Thaddeus, journeyed to Persia with Simon the Zealot, spreading the gospel to countless converts. Their success enraged local authorities, who had Jude beaten to death. Over time, Jude became the patron saint of lost causes, a symbol of perseverance in the face of despair, showing that faith can flourish even under overwhelming odds.
Number 11. Simon the Zealot. Simon, once a revolutionary seeking to overthrow Rome, redirected his passion to spreading the gospel after meeting Jesus.
He preached across distant lands and joined Jude in Persia. Threatened by their influence, authorities executed Simon either by crucifixion or being sawn in half. His life exemplifies transformation from a political fighter to a spiritual warrior.
Number 12. Judas Iscariot. Judas was a trusted disciple. He handled the group's money, walked beside Jesus daily, and witnessed miracle after miracle.
But somewhere along the way, greed, frustration, and impatience took root in his heart. He betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, an amount equal to the price of a slave.
Some scholars believe Judas may have been trying to push Jesus into revealing himself as the powerful Messiah, hoping to force a dramatic moment. But instead of trusting God's timing, he took matters into his own hands, and it led to disaster.
When Judas saw Jesus being condemned, guilt hit him with full force. He tried to return the silver to the priests, saying, "I have sinned. I betrayed innocent blood." But they refused to take it back. Filled with overwhelming shame and unable to face what he had done, Judas left the temple, went into a lonely field, and took his own life by hanging. Later, the field where his body was found became known as Akeldama, meaning the field of blood. Judas's story is a sobering warning. You can walk close to Jesus physically, but still be far from him in your heart. It teaches us that lost faith, impatience, and guilt can destroy even those who once walked in the light.
If these stories inspired you, share this video so others can discover the apostles' courage and devotion. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into biblical history, faith, and timeless truth.